Why are vast stretches of the United States practically deserted in 2025? Imagine states with rolling landscapes, stunning mountains, or endless plains, yet barely a soul in sight. What's keeping people away? Could it be the economy, extreme weather, or something even stranger? In this video, we're diving into the 9 emptiest states in America, uncovering why their populations are plummeting and what makes them so unlivable. Stay tuned because some of these reasons are downright shocking, and you won't believe which state tops the list. Can you guess which one? Let's dive in. Number 1. Alaska. Imagine a place so massive it could swallow up Texas twice, and yet fewer people live here than in Columbus, Ohio. Alaska, the largest state in the U.S., is often seen as an untamed paradise of vast wilderness, majestic mountains, and wildlife that you won't find anywhere else. But living in Alaska comes with its own unique set of challenges that make it one of the least populated states, with only about 740,000 people spread out over 616,000 square miles. That's about one person per square mile, which is incredibly sparse when you compare it to other states. For many, the wild beauty of Alaska is compelling, but the extreme conditions make it a difficult place to live long-term. One of the biggest challenges in Alaska is the weather. Winters are brutal, with temperatures frequently dropping below -30 degrees Fahrenheit (-34 degrees Celsius) in many parts of the state, and in the northern regions, it's not uncommon for temperatures to plunge as low as -60 degrees Fahrenheit (-51 degrees Celsius). The sunlight hours are also extreme. During the winter months, some areas experience 24 hours of darkness, while in the summer, the sun hardly sets, leading to up to 22 hours of daylight. This drastic shift can be difficult to adjust to and affect everything from daily routines to mental health. The state's remote location and limited infrastructure also pose challenges. Alaska has very few roads connecting its cities and towns, and for many areas, air travel is the primary form of transportation. This means that goods, services, and even basic supplies are often more expensive due to the high cost of shipping to remote regions. Housing can also be pricey, with the median home price around $325,000, and energy costs are sky-high due to the need for heating during long winters. Economically, Alaska is heavily reliant on the oil industry, and this can make the state's economy feel unstable. In recent years, the oil industry has faced downturns, leading to budget cuts and fewer job opportunities. The average household income in Alaska is around $75,000, which is higher than the national average, but this can be offset by the higher cost of living. Despite these difficulties, Alaska offers incredible rewards for those willing to embrace its rugged beauty. It's home to the Northern Lights, the largest national park in the U.S., Wrangell St. Elias, and the chance to explore glaciers, mountains, and some of the most pristine wilderness left on Earth. But for most people, the long winters, high costs, and isolation make it a place to visit, not necessarily to settle. Number 2. Wyoming. Wyoming is a state that's often celebrated for its wide open spaces, stunning natural landscapes, and outdoor adventures. But when it comes to living here, it's a bit of a different story. With a population of just over 580,000 people in 2025, Wyoming is the least populous state in the U.S. and, quite frankly, a state that most people pass through rather than settle in. Spread across 97,000 square miles, that means the state has only about 6 people per square mile, which is incredibly sparse compared to more densely populated areas in the U.S. One of the reasons why Wyoming's population is so low is its economy. The state relies heavily on natural resources like coal, oil, and natural gas, and while these industries bring in revenue, they also contribute to the state's reliance on a volatile global market. When commodity prices drop, Wyoming's economy suffers, and job opportunities can quickly disappear. The median household income in Wyoming is about $64,000, but outside of the energy sector and agriculture, the state lacks diverse career options. The largest city in the state, Cheyenne, has a population of around 65,000, and even this city doesn't offer the wide array of jobs, businesses, and cultural amenities that larger cities can provide. Wyoming's geographic isolation also makes it a difficult place to live. While the state is known for its incredible outdoor opportunities, like Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Teton Mountains, it lacks the bustling urban infrastructure that many people seek. Public transportation options are almost non-existent, and you'll need a car to get from one town to the next. This rural lifestyle is perfect for those who appreciate solitude, but it can feel isolating to others. The weather in Wyoming doesn't make things easier. Winters are long and harsh, with temperatures regularly dropping below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and snowstorms can last for days. The state averages about 50 inches of snow annually, and driving can be treacherous in the winter months. Summers are short and can be quite hot, often surpassing 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius. But the lack of air conditioning in many homes and businesses can make these months uncomfortable as well. Number 3. Montana. Montana, often called Big Sky Country, is as vast as it is empty. Spanning over 147,000 square miles, it's the fourth largest state in the U.S., yet fewer than 1.15 million people live here in 2025. That's fewer people than you'd find in San Antonio, Texas, crammed into a space the size of Germany. So why does Montana feel like a deserted paradise? For one, the economy leans heavily on agriculture, tourism, and mining, industries that don't exactly attract droves of young professionals. The weather, let's just say it's not for the faint-hearted. Winters in Montana can be brutal, with temperatures often dipping below -20 degrees Fahrenheit, -29 degrees Celsius. In towns like Havre, snowstorms can blanket the landscape, and blizzards can make rural areas impassable for weeks. And while summers are warm and beautiful, they bring wildfires that burn across thousands of acres every year. Not to mention, Montana has one of the highest grizzly bear populations in the lower 48 states. About 1,800 bears roam its forests and mountains. You'll want to think twice before taking that scenic hike without bear spray. Montana's job market isn't booming either. The average household income is around $60,000, below the national average, and opportunities for growth are limited outside of major cities like Billings or Missoula. Housing costs are reasonable, with a median price of $360,000, but its rural nature means many areas lack modern conveniences. Cell phone service? Spotty. High-speed internet? Better have patience. Despite the challenges, Montana is a haven for outdoor enthusiasts. Glacier National Park and Yellowstone attract millions of tourists each year, drawn by its crystal-clear lakes, rugged peaks, and sprawling plains. But for most, visiting is enough. Living here? That's a lifestyle choice few are ready to embrace. Number 4. North Dakota. North Dakota is the kind of place where you can stand in the middle of the road and not see a car for miles because there might not be anyone around to drive one. With a population of just 780,000 in 2025, North Dakota ranks among the least populated states in the country. The vast open prairies, harsh winters, and limited urban areas keep many potential residents at bay. The winters are legendary, and not in a good way. Temperatures can plunge to -30 degrees Fahrenheit, -34 degrees Celsius, and blizzards are so fierce that schools and businesses often shut down for days. Fargo, the state's largest city, may sound like a bustling hub, but it has fewer than 130,000 residents, tiny by most standards. The economy relies heavily on agriculture, with wheat and sunflowers dominating the fields, as well as oil production in the Bakken region. While the oil boom brought jobs, the industry is unpredictable, leaving the state vulnerable to economic swings. Housing is affordable, with the median home price hovering around $260,000, but affordability alone doesn't lure people when entertainment options are scarce. North Dakota has fewer than 1,000 restaurants statewide. Compare that to New York City, which boasts over 25,000. If you're into solitude and quiet nights under the stars, this might sound idyllic, but for most, it feels isolating. Despite its challenges, North Dakota has its perks. The air is among the cleanest in the nation, crime rates are low, and the community spirit in its small towns is unparalleled. Still, for many, the extreme weather and limited opportunities make it a better place to visit than stay. Number 5. South Dakota. South Dakota is often overshadowed by its northern neighbor, but it's equally as sparse when it comes to population. With just 910,000 people spread across 77,000 square miles, it's one of the least densely populated states in the U.S. That's only about 11 people per square mile. For comparison, New Jersey crams over 1,200 people into the same space. The weather in South Dakota can be challenging. Winters bring frigid temperatures that frequently drop below -10 degrees Fahrenheit, -23 degrees Celsius, along with fierce snowstorms and icy roads. Summers can be equally extreme, with scorching heat and severe thunderstorms that often include hail the size of golf balls. Tornadoes are also common, with an average of 36 tornadoes touching down in the state annually. These unpredictable conditions make farming, a major industry here, an incredibly tough job. The economy relies heavily on agriculture, tourism, and mining. While Mount Rushmore and the Badlands National Park draw millions of tourists every year, the job opportunities outside of these industries are limited. The median household income is around $63,000, below the national average, and many young people leave the state in search of better opportunities elsewhere. Housing is affordable, with a median home price of $280,000, but South Dakota's rural nature means fewer modern conveniences like high-speed internet or bustling entertainment hubs. One of the biggest draws of South Dakota is its natural beauty. From the stunning Black Hills to the rolling prairies, the state offers endless outdoor adventures. But for most people, the appeal of wide open spaces is outweighed by the isolation and harsh conditions. It's no wonder South Dakota remains a state where visitors come to explore but hesitate to stay. Number 6. Vermont. Vermont is famous for its fall foliage, maple syrup, and cozy small towns, but its population has remained stagnant for years. In 2025, only about 650,000 people call Vermont home, making it one of the least populous states in the country. Despite its picturesque charm, Vermont struggles to attract and retain residents. One of the biggest challenges is its economy. Vermont's job market relies heavily on agriculture, small businesses, and tourism. While its dairy farms produce 63% of New England's milk, the industry faces declining profits and labor shortages. Tourism spikes during the fall and ski season, but the lack of year-round opportunities leaves many residents juggling seasonal jobs. The average household income is around $65,000, which isn't much considering Vermont's high cost of living. The weather is another deterrent. Winters are long and harsh, with temperatures often dipping below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, -18 degrees Celsius. Snowstorms can dump several feet of snow, and rural roads can become treacherous. Combine that with limited public transportation, and you've got a state that's tough to navigate if you don't own a reliable vehicle. Housing is also a challenge. While the median home price is about $370,000, Vermont's strict zoning laws and limited housing stock make it difficult for newcomers to settle down. And while the state prides itself on its natural beauty and tight-knit communities, younger generations often find it isolating. Vermont's largest city, Burlington, has a population of just 45,000, leaving many craving the excitement and opportunities of larger urban centers. Despite its drawbacks, Vermont has a lot to offer. It consistently ranks among the safest states in the U.S., has a strong focus on sustainability, and boasts some of the best farm-to-table dining experiences in the country. But for many, the quiet rural lifestyle isn't enough to make Vermont their forever home. Number 7. Maine. Maine might be known for its stunning coastlines, lobsters, and quaint lighthouses, but it's not the easiest place to call home. With a population of just over 1.3 million in 2025, it ranks among the least populated states in the U.S., especially considering its 35,380 square miles of territory. The state is full of charm, but that charm doesn't always translate into easy living. The economy is a mix of agriculture, mostly potatoes, tourism, and seafood. Lobster fishing is a huge industry here, with over 4 million pounds of lobster being harvested each year. But the state faces a big problem: a declining population, particularly in rural areas. In fact, many towns in Maine have seen their populations decrease steadily, with younger generations moving to larger cities for better job prospects. The median household income is around $60,000, and while that's decent, it's not enough to overcome Maine's high cost of living and limited employment opportunities. Maine's winter weather is another major factor. The state sees over 70 inches of snow annually, with temperatures regularly dipping below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, -6 degrees Celsius, in the winter months. The harsh weather leads to high heating bills, snow removal costs, and long stretches of isolation when storms make roads impassable. In more rural areas, many homes are remote and difficult to access without proper transportation or emergency services. Real estate prices can be surprisingly high, with the median home price around $320,000, particularly in coastal areas. While the state is famous for its outdoor beauty, hiking, skiing, and the beautiful Acadia National Park, most people visit rather than stay. With a dwindling younger population and a focus on seasonal tourism, Maine struggles to maintain its relevance as a year-round destination for newcomers. Despite all these factors, there are still those who call Maine home for its peace and tranquility. But for the vast majority, the harsh winters and economic limitations make Maine a beautiful but difficult state to live in for the long haul. Number 8. Nebraska. Nebraska might be known for its cornfields and cattle ranches, but don't let its famous agriculture fool you. This state has a population problem. With 1.9 million people spread out over 77,000 square miles, it's another vast state where human presence is sparse. Nebraska's population density is among the lowest in the U.S., and unless you're a fan of open plains and long stretches of highway, this isn't the place for you. The weather in Nebraska is as extreme as it is unpredictable. Winters can drop to -10 degrees Fahrenheit, -23 degrees Celsius, with bitterly cold winds sweeping across the state. Tornadoes are also a regular occurrence, with 14 to 20 tornadoes typically reported each year. The state's summers are blistering hot, often hitting 90 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, and droughts can hit, making agriculture, especially corn and wheat farming, a risky endeavor. Nebraska's economy is heavily reliant on agriculture, livestock, and energy, and while these sectors are lucrative, they don't provide a wide variety of job opportunities. While the state capital, Lincoln, offers some education and healthcare positions, the job market overall is limited. The average household income in Nebraska is around $65,000, with median home prices around $300,000, but with a rural, agriculturally dominated economy, it's hard to find diverse career options unless you're working in agriculture, construction, or the energy sector. The sparse population also means fewer entertainment and social opportunities. While the state is known for college football, with the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers being a huge draw, it doesn't offer much else in terms of major cities or cultural attractions. Many people leave for larger cities in search of more opportunities, whether for work or lifestyle. Despite being a peaceful, affordable state with low crime, Nebraska's limited job opportunities and challenging weather make it an unlikely home for most. The state has much to offer in terms of natural beauty and agriculture, but for many, it's not enough to make it a permanent residence. Number 9. New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a state known for its picturesque landscapes, including stunning mountains, lakes, and forests. But living here can be more challenging than it seems. With a population of just around 1.4 million people in 2025, it ranks among the least populated states in the U.S., especially considering its 9,300 square miles of space. The state might have natural beauty in abundance, but when it comes to day-to-day living, it presents several challenges that make it less appealing to potential residents. One of the reasons for New Hampshire's low population is the cost of living. While the state has no sales tax or income tax, making it an attractive place for certain kinds of businesses, it has relatively high property taxes. The median home price in New Hampshire is $400,000, which is considerably more expensive than the national average. In addition to housing costs, utilities and healthcare expenses are often higher than in other parts of the U.S., making the overall cost of living higher than many expect for a state without a state income tax. Job opportunities in New Hampshire can also be limited. The state's economy relies heavily on manufacturing, technology, and tourism, but the job market is relatively narrow compared to other states. The median household income is around $77,000, which is decent, but many people find that the available jobs don't always align with their skills or career goals. Young people especially tend to move to larger cities like Boston or New York, where salaries are higher and the job market is more diverse. New Hampshire's weather adds another layer of difficulty. The winters here are long and harsh, with average temperatures often dipping below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and over 70 inches of snow can accumulate every year. The state's rural nature means that many homes are located in remote areas, making it difficult to travel during snowy conditions. The state's high elevation also leads to shorter summers and more extreme temperature swings throughout the year. Despite these challenges, New Hampshire has a lot to offer for those who can make it work. It ranks high in education, public safety, and healthcare, and it offers a strong sense of community in its small towns. For many, the serene beauty of New Hampshire's landscapes, combined with the sense of peace and safety, makes it an ideal place to visit. But living here long-term can feel more difficult.